Fede pitched the concept of an Evil Dead because he was a fan. And Sam was like, well, what would you do? What would your approach be? And he pitched his idea, and it all seemed very logical. And then Sam he contacted me and Rob Tappert and was like, should we take this seriously or not? We like, well, people have been talking about getting another one of these movies. Let's give them one with better effects, better actors. Every actor in this movie is better than any of us combined in the first one, as far as just the ease and the comfort at which they are performers. All the special effects are better. The photography is better. It was a chance to not see the green garden hose that's spewing the blood. That's all we wanted to do, was take the modern day ability and have a decent budget and let people have it again. It grips you and it holds you and it doesn't let you go, which is the real key to a horror movie. They can't let you go. You can't feel like you can ever escape. And there is no escape. Characters in the movie try and escape. They can't escape. Nobody can escape. The audience can't even escape. So you're basically doomed if you come and see this movie if you're not ready for it.
The story is very different, that it's just a different movie. And the reason it's Evil Dead is because Sam Raimi said, Fede, I want you to make Evil Dead. Like, what's your story? And, the elements that are the same are that, there's a book that unleashes evil. And within that, I think, hopefully, people can sort of, judge it for themselves. When he turned 18, he left. He was just like, I'm not dealing with this anymore. And, his mom has passed away, and he didn't go home. He just, didn't want to kind of, be part of it, didn't feel like he needed to be there. Felt like he'd already done his time in a way, and basically he gets a call from Olivia saying, your sister's in a lot of trouble. She's addicted to heroin, and we're going to try to help her get off of it, and you should be there. So as much as I don't want to go, and I know that it's going to be uncomfortable, my girlfriend's been hassling me to meet my family and my friends from back home, and so we take a trip to help my sister, and all hell breaks loose.
We see that something has happened in the cellar. There's a giant blood stain, and David and Eric go down to investigate, and they find this book in the basement, and they bring it up, and Eric can't leave it alone. He's mesmerized by it, and you're not quite sure why, and he ends up opening it and reading all of these incantations and releasing the Evil Dead onto all of us. I think that Olivia is probably the most skeptical to everything that's going on as far as the horror is concerned. I think she's there for a specific purpose, and that's her main focus. And when things start to kind of go wrong, I think she just wants to put it out of her mind and remind everybody the reason they're there, and that kind of leads them into trouble.
She smells something, and we can't smell it. We don't know what it is. So the dog sees something or smells something under the carpet. We pick it up. It's the cellar. When we go in there, it is first just a pretty normal cellar, but it smells, and we finally understand, okay, she wasn't hallucinating, but that still doesn't mean anything. She's still gonna hallucinate. She's still on rehab right now. But when we get to the second door, we find something, just say some kind of satanic ritual. The supernatural in this is such a cool visual, and it really keeps you going throughout the whole movie that there really is an antagonist. It's both of this book and this evil, and it becomes us. We become the bad guys. It's such a cool story. I think that's why Evil Dead in the first place was such a good classic, is because the good guys become the demons.
The thing I liked about Fede is he created this environment on set that was, no matter what we talked about before, let's try whatever you feel like right now. And that was sort of different for me, and I just listened to him, and I think through that we found a lot of stuff in the moment. It couldn't be too contrived. I think that being scary, I've said this before, but being scary and being funny is sort of the same thing to me. Like, I work on a comedy, and you can't really try to be funny, and you can't really try to be scary. It doesn't really work like that. So I think we just knew, like Fede wrote this story, so he knows the story extremely well. And from all the rehearsal we had, like I feel like, and how much I worked on it and how many times I read it, I feel like the story was really in me and these characters were really in me. But when we got to set, there was a lot of freedom. I got buried alive a couple different ways, but the one that was upsetting was when I was actually in a box under the ground, because Fede wanted Shiloh to actually feel like there was someone under there, and I was under the ground. That was scary.
The prosthetics and the rigs and everything are just kind of mind-blowingly amazing. I love that Fede is trying to do everything here with prosthetics and with the rigs and not with CGI. It just makes it so much, I mean, for us, it makes it so much easier from an acting point of view when you're actually like chopping off an arm rather than just pretending with no blade and all that stuff. I mean, it's cool. And there's been blood everywhere and vomit everywhere, and it's just, it adds so much, I think, because it's not this CGI sort of blood splatter and you're like, oh, it's fake. It just gives it such a rawness on screen that's really cool to see. There's an encounter between Natalie and Mia in the cellar, and she gets bitten on the hand, and this kind of infection starts to take over, and she just starts freaking out. And whatever it is, this kind of, she just needs to get rid of it, you know, like it's going up and up her arm. So she chops her arm off and kind of feels free of that sort of takeover of her whole body from this evil force or whatever it is happening to her, and she just chops it off.
It has some really, I think, original and fresh sequences, like horror set pieces and horror scenes that you have never seen before. At least we have never seen before. We've seen quite a good share of horror movies, but we really work hard in that. We really wanted to avoid cliches and have some really new, unique, fresh, original horror scenes. And I think we do, and there's plenty of them.
As opposed to the original Evil Dead, which was we did everything, this is a professional production, and professionals do everything. So we're able to mount things like blood rain and massive fog sequences and car stunts that look authentic and meet all the demands of a modern day audience. And we didn't have any of the safety concerns of just getting lucky, which is what happened on the first one. We were just lucky that nobody got killed.
I personally love supernatural tales. I think it opens up a lot of questions for the audience. Why is this happening? How come? And I think those are good things. I think it gives you a lot of room to explore. It moves it into the realm of the fantastic, and I think that can be really scary. When you open up your mind to the possibility that something could happen, that's really scary to me sometimes, especially in how it can be portrayed in horror. It's a very exciting, young, fresh cast. They all have the right energy. I think the spirit of, we're going to do something outrageous and cool, and to try to give the audience something that they don't expect. And it's a great challenge when you're remaking a classic film to try to breathe a new life into it, and I think that's exactly what this cast does.
We don't see much supernatural things in the movie in the way of, when I'm saying supernatural, you don't see people floating or, you know, something that is too, you don't see magic elements, you know, you don't see anything that is too supernatural and obvious. That's why they're struggling during the whole movie to process this, things are happening, and they don't know. They think it may be they're just mad, or it's just some kind of crazy virus that is driving them crazy, or they don't know. So I didn't want to show them any, to the character, I didn't want to show any display of supernatural power too soon into the movie that would make them, it will kill the debate. They will go right away, okay, this is a supernatural curse. So that's why we're trying to hide those things and not showing them too much. And I think by that point, because we're already in third act and close to the end, it's one of the first things that David will witness that will tell him okay, this is supernatural, definitely something. I really enjoyed the whole process of making the movie. I had a blast doing it. It was something it was, every day was so different, like maybe in other movies you can get into the routine of filming in the same set every day, but our movie, like, I don't remember, I think the top time that we spent in the same set was probably 3 days, I don't know, something like that, maybe by the end a little bit more, but in general, we were like, every morning was like, well, today we're doing this, oh, today we're in the cellar, oh, today we're in the tool shed, oh, today is a nail gun scene attack, so it changed every day was something different, so it was hard not to get excited about going to the shooting every day.